Tonight, or perhaps in the quiet hours of a sleepless night, you will lie in bed and look at your phone. Maybe it's a cold rejection text, or just a memory of a relationship that faded into nothing. Suddenly you feel a heavy, crushing ache in your chest. It feels as if an invisible hand is squeezing your heart, making it hard to draw a breath. We call this heartbreak, but if you stop and think about it, the whole phenomenon is deeply bizarre. Your heart is just a muscular pump responsible for circulating blood. It has no emotional cells, no conscious thought. So why, when your mind takes a psychological hit, does this physical pump experience such acute agony? Why does emotional trauma manifest so perfectly as physical torture? In the natural world, grief and separation happen every single day. A lioness loses her cub. She might emit a low, mournful cry for a few days, but soon she enters estrus again and seeks out a new mate. A zebra watches its companion get torn apart by a crocodile. After sprinting for its life, it goes right back to casually grazing by the river 5 minutes later. Animals experience stress and fear, but they don't carry chronic heartbreak. Their defense mechanisms act like a switch. Once the danger passes, the switch flips off and life goes on. Only humans are this beautiful, self-destructive exception. We can spend months in profound despair over an abstract concept, the loss of love. We stop eating, our immune systems tank, and we stare at the ceiling all night. In medicine, this isn't just a metaphor. It's a literal condition called Takotsubo Cardiomyopathy, or more commonly, broken heart syndrome. When a human experiences a catastrophic emotional shock, a massive surge of stress hormones floods the heart, causing the left ventricle to physically balloon, weaken, and fail. Your heart can literally deform and stop working purely out of sorrow. Either evolution made a terrible mistake with our species, or this agonizing mechanism serves a purpose so vital that it rewrote what it means to be human. To understand why evolution cursed us with heartbreak, we have to look at the unique flaw in how humans are born. Mainstream biology calls this the obstetric dilemma. Millions of years ago, when our ancestors stood up to walk upright, our pelvises had to adjust to support our posture. At the same time, evolution was trying to make us smarter by rapidly expanding our brain size. This created an anatomical disaster. Human babies' heads became so large they could barely fit through the birth canal. To prevent both mother and child from dying during labor, evolution hit the panic button and made a massive compromise. It forced human babies to be born massively premature. While a foal can stand up and walk within an hour of birth, a human baby cannot even hold up its own head for months. We show up completely useless, dependent on others, and more helpless than any other animal that has ever existed on this planet. On the ancient, brutal savanna of 300,000 years ago, a mother trying to forage for food, evade predators, and shelter a helpless infant entirely on her own had a survival probability of 0. They would both become food. To keep the species from going extinct, evolution had to completely rewrite the human brain. It needed a mechanism to force a male and a female to stay together, share resources, and co-parent this fragile infant for years. The carrot evolution used was a flood of dopamine and oxytocin, the chemical cocktail we call love. But evolution also knew that humans are clever, volatile, and fickle. A reward system wasn't enough. The stakes were too high. So it built a stick to match the carrot. It created heartbreak. Evolution took the neural pathways for social rejection and literally wired them directly into the hardware we use for physical pain. It built a biochemical handcuff. When someone breaks a bond or abandons the tribe, the brain triggers a full-scale physical emergency. That crushing chest pain is an ancient alarm system sounding off in your nervous system. It is the raw, primal fear of the savanna telling you, you are alone, the alliance is broken, your genetic lineage is about to die in the dark. You think your profound grief is a romantic, transcendental experience. But at its evolutionary roots, heartbreak is a brutal piece of biological code designed to terrify you into staying together, so your offspring won't freeze or get eaten. Today, we live in climate-controlled apartments. We don't need to fend off leopards, and a single parent can walk into a grocery store to feed a child. The existential threat of being alone is gone, but that 300,000-year-old software is still running perfectly inside your chest. When someone walks out of your life, your ancient brain doesn't know you have a bank account and a roof. It thinks you've been abandoned in the wild, and it dumps a tidal wave of pain into your heart. It sounds deeply cynical, doesn't it? To reduce our highest emotional tragedy to a mere survival hack. But this is actually the most romantic part about being human. Evolution gave us these heavy, agonizing chains just to keep us from dying out. Yet, humans took those very chains and used them to compose symphonies. We took that raw evolutionary trauma and built art, wrote timeless poetry, founded religions, and developed an extraordinary capacity for empathy. We took a cold, biological punishment and turned it into the most beautiful thing we own. So, the next time you feel that familiar, sharp ache in your chest over someone who is gone, do not mistake it for weakness. It is the echo of 1,000,000 years of survival pulsing through your veins. It is your body remembering what it was built to do, whispering to you in the quiet hours of the night. You are carrying the scar of the savanna. You are still human, and you are still violently, beautifully alive.